Was there anything, before we go into the next story, was there anything else you wanted to throw up onto the screen?
Actually, yes, don't mind if I do. I saw this story this morning. We've sort of touched on it a little bit a couple of times over the last year. Mike King's mental health charity. And there's always something else. There's always something else. So today's story, excessive. Two Mike King charity executives earn a combined $527,000 per year after the $24 million government funding boost. Now, little bit of backstory here. Mike King was very vocal when Labor was in government that Labor weren't doing enough for mental health, which may be true. New Zealand has a terrible track record with mental health, and there's never enough money to go around. But Mike King really laid in the boot. And as National were in campaign mode at that point, they said, we will increase funding to your charity organisation. We've got Bill English's company over here to just prove, here's some stats that we're going to show you that the return on investment with Mike King's mental health charity specifically is much higher than anything else. There was a lot of concerns raised at that time about that was a hell of a lot of money to just be projecting to one mental health charity, and what it was going to cover. Was it going to make meaningful change? Well, it seems like a big chunk of that money has just gone to Mike King. So Mike King's mental health charity is defending the amount paid to its executives over the past year, a combined $527,000, nearly twice what was spent over the last 12 months. The charity says larger remuneration costs were the result of an expanded leadership team following a multi-million-dollar government funding boost. Mike King became executive director last year, but is now planning to step down. He would remain in the role while a succession planning was underway. Where's the bit where it actually says how many? Oh, here we go. The first financial statement since the funding increase showed that the number of key personnel employed by I Am Hope rose from 1.13 full-time equivalent to 1.42 full-time equivalent positions. The total remuneration rose from $290,000-ish to $527,000, or almost $528,000. This is more money than some charities operate on as a whole in a 12-month period. This is a huge amount of money. So yeah, now there are questions being asked whether this was the best use of that government money. That's money that is not going to people who need it. It's not going to therapists. It's not going to counsellors. It's going to Mike King. And maybe an uncharitable person would be going, wow, that's quite a nice payout for someone that did some damage to the previous government in an election year. So how do we feel about that chat? Do we feel that massive increase in remuneration for 1.5 jobs is an effective use of public money for a mental health charity? Have we seen Mike King's charity out there doing more work than they were doing beforehand? I honestly don't know. But the Ministry of Health said that the underspend. Oh, wait, no, I've scrolled on way too far here. Yeah. So, manager of grassroots mental health organisation who spoke on the condition of anonymity said, I Am Hope's foundation executive fees were excessive. I have worked for 3 non-profit organisations, and I can confidently say that our CEOs, including myself, did not get anywhere near that. Her organisation was shut down after a funding cut last year. She noted that I Am Hope was not able to spend its $6 million in funding last, ending up with a $1 million underspend. So, yes, that is a story that sort of piqued my interest. There is not enough money for a variety of mental health charities in this country. $24 million could have been spread around a lot more effectively. One of the two groups I think that really scream out for more mental health support are youth and folks that live in rural sectors. And I don't think they would have got a sniff of any of that funding.
I don't know how to feel about that. It's a story that keeps on giving, isn't it?
I mean, this is the thing. Like, I'm not going to say that Mike King's charity does no good. I think that would be a gross oversimplification, and I do not believe that it would be true. But I think this was a really good example of a very squeaky wheel getting a lot of grease from a party that was fully in campaign mode. A big part of their justification of how effective I Am Hope was the investigation by Bill English's company that did a breakdown and an analysis and produced a return on investment figure. So again,
which you have to pay for, by the way.
Just keeps coming up.
You pay for those. It's not just oh, this is a good one. You have to reach out and get those service of sorts.
And look, Mike King has worked very hard on his own initiative. A booze executive probably gets $750,000. They do the opposite of Save Lives. No issue for me. I don't know. I think you've missed that part where a former CEO of another charity goes, there's no way that you can justify this wage. There's no way. And if we take Mike King at his word, and this is a man that has been on television, who has had his own challenges with booze, with mental health. The man has literally been in tears on TV saying that not enough is being done for people with mental health challenges. I 100% agree. But I don't get to that point where that same person can turn around and justify that level of remuneration. If there is such a crisis there, wouldn't you want as much of that funding as possible to go to people who need it? And then you've got that other damning piece of information, is that they couldn't even spend the money that they were getting before this massive funding increase. So it doesn't pass the sniff test. In comparison with the booze executive as well, completely different factors on remuneration as well. You'd be looking at profit and that sort of thing. When you're the CEO of a non-profit, it shouldn't be based off that. Like, you're not going to turn a profit on mental health. So I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't think this passes the sniff test.
Yeah, because it's, as a CEO or the director, whatever it is, you should know what it costs. I'm sure he does. If he's done it from the ground up, then he will know the costs of helping these people. I don't think in good conscience I could be the director and see a 100% pay rise, double my pay, and not think, shit, this is a lot of money and this could do a lot of good. I don't think I could, even if I was like, I've worked my ass off and I've worked for many years to get this where it is now, I deserve more. I don't think I could justify it.
How many extra counselling sessions? And again, from a charity that wasn't able to spend $6 million.
Hmm.
They're still with $1 million left over and didn't just go, fucking open the taps on more counselling sessions. And then they go, hey, look, we had trouble spending that extra million. Okay, cool. My pay packet. I'll help. I'll take half of it. It's just funky. It's just funky. I don't like it. It reeks of corruption, cronyism, conflict of interest. And again, it's public money. There should be more scrutiny for this. Like, why is there not $24 million being dropped into the Ministry of Health for mental health counselling sessions? For youth counselling, for rural counselling. You know, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, well, I don't imagine anything will... will anything come of it?
No,
the story that keeps on giving?
This is the timeline that we're on. I mean,
no.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to debate that Mike King has done some good, but I also think that Mike King is a man that hasn't put his own demons to bed before he's turned around and tried to be an expert on everybody else's demons.
I just personally don't understand how you can spend that amount of money. Like $500K a year is insane. Obviously, that gets chopped down by 52, but it's still a fuck ton of money a week. Like, I just do not know how you spend that or justify that within a reasonable lifestyle. It just, there is an amount that no longer does any good. I mean, like, cover your living expenses, cover your retirement, future retirement, cover making sure that you're able to get to where you need to be. If you're a CEO, you've got to fly around, you've got to do meetings. Like, I understand all of that, and that all costs money. You've got to pay for your hotels and all that sort of thing as well. You perhaps have international engagements. Those things cost money, and they deserve acceptable remuneration. But there is an expense in which it no longer is justified. Like, I just... Why are you taking that home? Especially when you know what that money could do. 200 grand could be, or even 300 grand, that could be 3 or 4 counsellors, full-time counsellors.
Yep. And look, I know a few people down here in the counselling space and that sort of thing for ACC and domestic violence groups and that sort of thing, and they have to hard scrabble for funding applications and that sort of thing. And I know they ACC recently cut travel allowances for counsellors. So say you've got something quite specific, like something to do with children, as an example, and there's only so many counsellors around, but the person that needs that counselling is in a town that doesn't have one of those counsellors. Right, so ACC used to pay for their mileage to go, once a month, once a fortnight, to do a counselling session. They used to pay for their mileages. That got cut earlier this year. Not enough money around. ACC couldn't justify it. So imagine if you're that kid that's getting that help, that out-of-town help, and you're halfway through however many sessions you get, and then ACC says, oh, that person's not coming anymore. You're on your own again. Like, can you imagine how damaging that is? And I think this was the question initially with I Am Hope, of like, they were talking about a number of new counselling sessions, and the thing with any sort of mental health counselling isn't the amount of initial counselling sessions. It's the whole program, right? And there were big question marks over that. of whether they were just talking about, well, you get your first 3 counselling sessions for free, and for free, and then we'll see how we go for that, or is it more effective to go deep? But yeah, I hope someone with a bit more juice can really dig into this, because it's a lot of money, and it's public money. We deserve to know. We deserve to know that the public is getting the benefit of it.